We are just surrounded by digital perfection all the time, right? That flawless photo, the super easy one-click purchase, that never-ending stream of content. It all feels so effortless. But what is the machinery that's humming just behind that polished screen? Today, we're going to peel back the layers of our digital world and really see what it's made of.
I mean, we see this stuff everywhere. It's flawless, it's perfectly lit, it's just effortlessly cool. It completely fills our feeds and makes a certain kind of lifestyle look so simple and totally attainable. But the real question is any of it actually real?
And that's the big question we're really digging into here. We're going behind the curtain, past the final polished product, to uncover the tools, the systems, and yeah, even the hidden costs that power our digital lives.
Okay, so how is that perfection actually made? Well, it all starts with the creation process. That smooth, professional looking video you just watched, it doesn't just happen. It's built piece by piece using a set of tools that are actually surprisingly consistent across the board.
The world of video editing can seem really complicated, but here's a little secret. Almost every single program, from the super pro software like Premiere Pro all the way down to a simple app like CapCut, works the exact same way. You've got your media panel, which is basically your kitchen pantry with all your raw ingredients, your clips and sounds. And then you have your timeline. That's your countertop, where you arrange everything to tell your story. That's it. That's the fundamental building block of pretty much all digital video. But hey, it's not just about what you see. The real secret sauce, it's the audio. Professional sounding audio is what truly makes content feel high quality. And simple tools, which are more accessible now than ever, make a huge difference. Things like noise removal can just erase that distracting background hiss, while volume leveling makes sure everything you hear is smooth and consistent. These are those little invisible tweaks that create that polished, professional feel. All right, so the content is created and polished, but how in the world does it get from the creator's computer all the way to your screen? This, my friends, is where a massive, unseen marketing machine takes over. And it's also where we start to run into some pretty serious ethical questions. And that brings us to a huge ethical problem: misleading imagery. It's basically the digital version of what you see isn't what you get. Think of a fast food burger that looks absolutely perfect in the ad, but then what you get in the box is, well, a disappointment. Online, where we can't physically touch or inspect things, it's even easier for visuals to be enhanced or just plain altered to create totally false expectations about a product. And this is not some rare thing that happens once in a while. One study actually found that roughly 1 out of every 5 online shoppers says they've been tricked by misleading content. This is a very real impact, right? It wears away our trust, and it definitely influences what we decide to buy. This right here perfectly captures the digital iceberg. On the surface, what do we see? A simple, friendly buy now button. But underneath that button is a massive, complex infrastructure: data collection, powerful encryption, and super secure payment gateways. And it all has to work flawlessly in less than a second. That's exactly why robust security, like multi-factor authentication, where you need a second code from your phone to log in, is so critical. But the price we pay for all this convenience, it goes way beyond just our data or our money. There are some pretty profound psychological and, believe it or not, environmental price tags attached to our digital lives. This quote really nails the psychological cost of these tech ecosystems. I mean, when all your devices work together seamlessly, it feels incredible, right? But that perfect experience is actually designed to create dependency. It locks you into a single brand and it limits your choices. It's a really powerful example of how simple design choices can have a big impact on our well-being and our freedom to choose. And then there's the physical cost. The cloud isn't some weightless, magical thing floating up in the sky. It's powered by enormous, energy-hungry data centers. You combine that with the pollution from supply chains and the literal mountains of e-waste from all our discarded gadgets, and suddenly our digital world has a very real, very heavy environmental footprint. This is the reality that some companies try to hide with greenwashing, making themselves seem way more eco-friendly than they actually are. Now, the good news is people are really starting to pay attention. This chart shows a super sharp increase in academic research on these very topics. This isn't just some niche concern anymore. It is becoming a major area of study and debate, which honestly is the first step toward finding some real solutions.
So, with all of this in mind, what's the path forward? Look, it's not about rejecting technology entirely. It's about shifting our mindset from just being passive consumers to becoming conscious, empowered participants in our digital future.
So, what can we actually do? Well, here are the key takeaways. First off, question that effortless perfection you see online. Get a handle on the basics of data privacy, and please use security tools like MFA. Start to recognize when a convenient ecosystem is becoming more of a dependency. And finally, use your voice and your wallet to support companies that are transparent, sustainable, and ethical. At the end of the day, none of this technology was inevitable. It was all designed and built by people making very specific choices. The same systems that are used for manipulation can be used for connection and for education. So the final question is really for all of us. Knowing what we know now, what kind of digital world do we actually want to build for the future?